If you haven't already done so, begin taking some nice, deep breaths. Allowing yourself to settle in, allowing yourself to switch over into a calmer state. And with every breath, relaxing more fully, sinking in a little deeper still. And just stay here for a little while, focusing on your breathing, allowing yourself to sink down even deeper with each breath you're taking. Now I'd like you to imagine that you're walking along a path in a beautiful, safe forest setting. Maybe it's a place you've been before, maybe it's a place you imagine, or a place you've always wanted to go. But as you walk, just allow your comfort to increase. Now, I can't know for sure all of the things you might be noticing. Maybe you might enjoy noticing all the varying shades of green in nature, looking around and observing the various shades. Or maybe you notice the way the tops of the trees are silhouetted against the blue sky. Maybe you notice the texture of the path beneath your feet. What is it made of? Maybe you're aware of the sound as you walk the path. Maybe you can hear wind gently blowing in the trees, or a bird singing in the distance. Or maybe there are textures that you become aware of, such as the sponginess of a piece of moss, or the prickle of a pine needle. Or maybe there are certain scents that you can notice, such as the fresh, clean smell of the air, or the smell of sap, or a wild flower, or the earthy smell of the forest bed. But just taking some time as you walk, noticing, envisioning, or imagining the details of this peaceful forest setting. And I'd like you to add something to this scenario. I'd like you to imagine that you're carrying a large backpack on your back. Maybe you can imagine feeling the weight and the burden of it. And as you're walking, the backpack is getting heavier and heavier, heavier and heavier with every step. This backpack contains objects of some kind. Maybe they're bottles or jars or containers or cans, but objects of some kind. And these objects represent things that have been burdening you. Maybe old feelings, habits, behaviors, maybe even people somehow. But things that you are tired carrying. Things that you've been carrying for far too long, that you're now ready to be rid of. And each of the objects in your backpack is labeled somehow, so you know exactly what it is. But for now, just aware of the weight of the burdens that you've been carrying for so long. And as you walk, the path begins to lead up a rise, up a slight hill. And the pack is feeling even heavier, but you sense that a short distance ahead, you'll come to the top of the hill. Excited about the idea of a beautiful view, you keep walking. And as you reach the top, sure enough, you're greeted with a beautiful view of a large open meadow with beautiful green grass, wildflowers that you can enjoy comfortably. You also notice that off in the distance, tied to the ground, is a hot air balloon. As you approach it, you notice the puffiness of the balloon and the weave on the basket beneath it. You notice the colors of that balloon, and you hear the sound of the air that fills it. And as you get up close to that basket, you peek inside, noticing that it's completely empty. And you have a fantastic idea. you let that backpack drop to the ground with a thud. You are tired of carrying around in your life the heavy burden of all of those things. You feel ready to finally let go of them, to let that balloon take them away. And so in a moment, I'm going to be quiet. And while I am, just open up that backpack and take out the items one by one, noticing what's written on the labels. Taking some time to notice what it is you're ready to get rid of, what it is that has been weighing you down. Taking some time to notice now. Now I'd like you to take those containers and throw them in the basket. And you're going to be pleased to notice that with every item you throw in the basket, you feel better, lighter, freer. And so if you haven't already started, begin tossing the items into the basket and allow yourself to feel a relief as you lighten your load. It feels great to get rid of these burdens. It feels great to have made the choice to no longer carry them, to no longer allow them to hold you back or hold you down or interfere with your movement forward. With every item you toss into the basket, you feel greater and greater peace, freedom, comfort, and relief. With every object, you feel lighter and lighter. Continue unpacking that entire backpack, throwing everything into the basket. Maybe you'd like to even toss the backpack in there as well. And once everything is in the basket, find a way to undo the ropes that have the balloon fastened to the ground. Maybe there's a small hatchet nearby that you can use safely. Maybe you can somehow untie them with your hands. Or maybe they just magically undo. But loosen the ropes and you'll notice that right away the basket begins to move. It begins to float, carrying away with it all of your burdens. And as the balloon floats higher and higher, you can rest back and watch it go. Watch it carry away all of those burdens, taking them farther and farther away. And with each motion of the balloon, you feel an increasing sense of relief and freedom. You are free of these burdens. They no longer have any influence on you whatsoever. They can no longer hold you back or hold you down or stand in your way. They are gone. And soon that balloon will be out of sight. And when it's gone, you can take a nice deep breath and open your eyes, refreshed, awake, and alert.